Talk about the transition from leaving college basketball and moving into the W.
Before Caitlin Clark arrived, Lexie Hull's career was in shambles. A startling new interview shows how Clark's leadership saved Hull and changed the Indiana Fever. What actually transpired behind the scenes, from smashing lows to a spectacular comeback, you won't want to miss this tale. Stay tuned to find out more.
So you have basketball in your genes. Your grandfather played basketball, your dad, and you have a twin sister who you played basketball with growing up. What was it like growing up in that family dynamic?
Well, we have a super competitive family, and having my dad play basketball collegiately, knew that basketball was going to be put in my hands at an early age, but my parents were, super excited about having us try every sport imaginable. So, yeah.
The professional basketball career of Lexie Hull. She arrived as the 6th overall pick in the 2025 WNBA draft with the potential to be a vital member of the Indiana Fever, but her journey swiftly transformed from one of high hopes to one of relevance.
It happened really, really quick. We finished up the Final Four, and then a week later the draft happens, and then a few days after that, packing up my dorm room and moving to the Midwest. So it was a big transition, especially moving someplace that I had.
That promise was quickly eclipsed by poor play and little playing time, and by the beginning of the 2025 season, Hull was in danger of being unnoticed as her playing time decreased, and supporters began to doubt whether she would ever reach her full potential.
The basketball part of the transition is really tough. Everybody out on the court was one of the best players on their college teams, definitely the best player.
At Stanford, she was a star known for her grit, athleticism, and basketball IQ. She helped her team win a national championship and appeared destined for professional greatness, but the WNBA had higher stakes and fiercer competition. Every player on the court had been the best in their respective programs, and Hull found herself struggling to keep up. The transition from college to the WNBA was much more difficult than she had anticipated. Hull acknowledged in a recent interview that it messes with your head to go from being a key player in college to sitting on the bench watching others take the minutes you worked so hard for. By the time the 2025 season arrived, Hull was on the verge of being called a bust. Her confidence was shaken, and the team wasn't in a better position. They started the season with a dismal 1-18 record. The locker room was tense, criticism of the coaching staff was rampant, and the atmosphere was anything but hopeful. Fans were growing impatient, and the players were too. When Caitlin Clark arrived,
I've seen so much growth, not only on the team side, how we're performing on the court, but also the growth in fans. I mean, on the road, it felt like home games. We're playing in sold-out arenas that we had.
One of the most anticipated rookies in recent memory and a college basketball sensation, Clark provided the Fever with much-needed spark to her ferocious competition and entertaining PL style. From the time Clark joined the team, everything started to change. She wasn't just another player.
To be on the court with Caitlin Clark, and you also struck up a friendship with her. Can you talk about how important it is to have that camaraderie on and off the court?
I think it was important to get to know her off the court, because I do think that, connections, getting to know people really play a part in the success of teams. And it's really awesome to get to know her as well, because she's a great person, but you have all these expectations put on her, and our team has put on her, and fans have put on her. So to see her kind of be so mature in that transition, it's been really awesome, and I'm just really proud to have her on.
The Hull few people anticipated the redemption arc that began with Clark's arrival. Hull had been having trouble figuring out how to contribute effectively and finding her place in the Fever system, but Clark's arrival completely changed that dynamic. Her ability to predict plays and deliver precise passes created opportunities that didn't exist before, and all of a sudden, Hull was in open spaces, receiving passes she didn't believe were possible, and being placed in positions to succeed. The change wasn't instantaneous, but it was undeniable. Caitlin changed everything, Hull said. Her energy, vision, and ability to improve everyone around her was contagious. She made me believe in myself again. Practices intensified as everyone raised their game due to Clark's competitive fire. Hull started concentrating on honing her cutting and shooting skills because she knew that with Clark on the floor, every opportunity mattered. She began to feel a renewed sense of purpose and began to pour herself into the work, believing that her moment would come. I believe that Caitlin's encouragement was what really helped. Hull clarified that she wasn't only concerned with her own performance and that she truly wanted us all to succeed. If I missed a shot, she would reassure me that I would get the next one. This type of support makes a big difference. Beyond the court, Clark's leadership was evident in the locker room, where she managed to restore the team's spirits and create a sense of unity that had been severely lacking. Hull explained how Clark's maturity and positivity fostered an atmosphere where players felt supported despite obstacles. It wasn't just about basketball, Hull said. Caitlin tried to get to know us as individuals, and that connection led to improved chemistry on the court. It was like a domino effect, where when one player stepped up, it encouraged everyone else to do the same. The Fever's offense started to change, and Clark was able to redefine herself as a player. Her shooting percentages improved, her confidence increased, and she began to make a noticeable impact in games. Fans who had previously doubted her started to notice her comeback, but the journey wasn't without its difficulties. Hull acknowledged that the demands of the WNBA and the pressure to perform might be too much for her, and that social media in particular became a double-edged sword, with both compliments and criticism pouring into her feeds after every game. It's difficult to avoid reading the comments. As the season went on, the Indiana Fever started to turn things around. Hull became a key contributor, thriving in her role and proving that she belonged in the WNBA. Meanwhile, Clark's star continued to rise, drawing fans to games and creating excitement around the team. For Hull, the 2025 season went from being a nightmare to a story of redemption. She attributes much of her turnaround to Clark's leadership and the culture shift she brought to the team. But it wasn't just about what Clark did for Hull. It was about how she changed the entire Indiana Fever's trajectory. I learned a lot about resilience this season. According to Hull, keeping prepared, having faith in the process, and relying on your teammates are more important than talent alone. I appreciate everything that Caitlin has contributed to our squad, not only for me but for all of us as the season progressed. The fans and everyone else inside the Fever organization noticed Clark's arrival more. Practices became more competitive, games became more cohesive, and the team's energy changed. The chemistry Clark brought wasn't just contagious, it was transformative for Lexie Hull, and this change served as the foundation for her comeback story. Hull's early season difficulties appeared like a distant memory because to Caitlin's accurate passing and capacity to spot possibilities that nobody else could. With each game, Lexie found herself in situations she had never been in before, such as being wide open for a shot or breaking through the defense to make a play. Hull's confidence increased, and she characterized the change as a total 180 not only for her performance but also for her mindset. I'd been working hard all along, Hull said, but it seemed like nothing was clicking. Caitlin gave me the courage to take those chances and taught me how to trust my gut again. Clark's ability to uplift others around her with her court vision, basketball IQ, and unwavering determination was just as important as her skill on the court. Drive created opportunities to showcase her teammates. Hull explained to Caitlin that every cut has a purpose and that she sees things before they happen. I've had passes come to me where she felt like she was constantly a threat on the floor because of the way Clark would deliver passes in impossible situations. I wasn't even aware that I was open yet, but this new dynamic helped Hull find her rhythm. By the middle of the season, her shooting percentages had significantly improved, and she was a dependable contributor in crucial situations for a player who had previously questioned her position in the league. Fans started to notice, with social media exploding with admiration for Hull's renewed vigor and confidence, but the change wasn't just about the numbers. Hull highlighted the breadth of Clark's leadership. Beyond assists and standout plays, Caitlin developed into the team's emotional pillar, always willing to support her teammates through trying times, whether it was by encouraging them after a missed shot or pushing them harder during practice. Clark's impact was evident. She is the type of teammate who never lets you give up. For the first time in her professional career, Hull felt like she was having a significant impact on the team. She said that if I made a mistake, she would tell me to shuck it off. You've got this. It's a small thing, but it makes a big difference. As Hull's confidence grew, so did her role within the team. She was no longer just a bench player fighting for minutes, but an essential part of the Fever's rotation. Her cutting, shooting, and defensive energy added a new dimension to the team's play. Not only did Clark have an impact on Hull, but her presence seemed to help the entire Fever roster. Leah Kelsey Mitchell, because of Clark's desire and competitiveness, Boston and the rest of the team started playing with newfound vigor, and practices devolved into arguments as players pushed one another to get better. Hull recalls how Caitlin set the tone for all of us, making even the scrimmages feel like high-stakes contests. Hull claimed that she made it apparent that our goal was to win, not just to compete. Once beset by poor attendance and ambivalent support, the team started to attract bigger crowds as a result of this cultural shift. The arena's energy became electric, and ticket sales skyrocketed. It's difficult to express how much it means to have that type of support, but Hull explained how playing in front of a full house provided the team an extra lift during games. Hull added that having the fans behind you motivates you to play even harder. The Fever's resurgence involved more than simply victories and defeats. It involved rewriting the story of the team, changed from one of disappointment and frustration to one of hope and Hull's potential. This change felt very personal. She went from doubting her league future to becoming an important member of a team that was on the rise. I don't think I could have survived without Caitlin Hull, who acknowledged that she did more than just save my career. She reminded me of why I love this game. Fans of the WNBA marveled at how well the two players seemed to complement one another, with Hull's hard effort winning Clark's trust and Clark's passing unlocking Hull's ability. Their relationship became one of the most talked about dynamics in the league. The pair came to represent the Fever's new persona. As the season went on, the team, which was founded on resiliency, unity, and a dedication to excellence, gained momentum and went from the league's basement to playoff contention, surpassing expectations and demonstrating that their early setbacks were not a reflection of their actual potential. Hull characterized the trip as both difficult and rewarding, highlighting the team's growth throughout the season and saying that even in difficult times, we stuck by one another, which was what made the difference off the court. Hull and Clark's relationship grew stronger as they spent time getting to know one another and developing a friendship that lasted. It's easy to get caught up in the pressure of the game, but having someone like Caitlin by your side makes it easier to handle the Fever, Hull said. Beyond basketball, Hull credited this connection with helping her stay grounded and focused during the highs and lows of the season. The season wasn't just about redemption, it was about laying the groundwork for future success with a young core led by Clark, Hull, and Boston.